there, and welcome to Healing the World Together. Oh, and one of my lights has just gone off. That's okay. We'll carry on. My name is Victoria Dio, and I am joined by a very good friend of mine, a business expert, and most importantly, her name is Shelley Shulman, and she helps businesses build the backbone of their business. Is that right?
That's right.
I
That's
got it.
right. You got it.
I got it.
You got
Now, listen, anybody who's going to see us is going to go, oh my God, what are these two going to talk about?
it.
And and do you know what? I'm so excited to have you on because we talk about all sorts.
Oh,
Like
we
we put
do.
the world to rights. We talk about business and stuff. Normally, I'm the person messaging you at 11 o'clock at night going, Shell,
Yeah. Got a
got
question.
a
Shell.
question. I got a question. But first and foremost, let's just go back. Who is Shelley Shulman?
Oh, that's a question with
I
many layers,
know,
isn't it?
I know.
So, from a business capacity,
Yes.
so I help you build the backbone of your business. So all of the systems and the strategy and the structure that hold everything together, that a
Mm,
business still works even if you can't.
mm,
And the reason that is so passionate to me is that I live with bipolar.
right.
So my energy is not linear. I have good days, I have bad days. I have a daughter with chronic health conditions. I work with a lot of people who are neurodivergent. And I understand that there are some days where you just can't function
Yeah.
for whatever reason. And I think it's really, really important that business owners, especially when we're solopreneurs,
Yeah.
solo business owners, they have those systems in place that they can fall back on so that if they have to take a day off, it doesn't all fall apart. Okay, you might have to cancel a couple of calls or whatever, but stuff will still work in
Mm,
the background. And I think that's so, so important because a lot of people build businesses, and businesses tend to grow up around us. We start them, they grow up around us, and then we get to kind of like year two, year three, and then go, oh, the foundations aren't all that great. Bit like the Three Little Piggies kind of stories, like
yeah.
the House of Straw, House of Sticks,
Mm,
House of Bricks. And
yeah.
we have to really put those systems in place and just take a step back and say, right, what can I do to really make this business stable so that it will work without me, it will continue to grow, and it actually gives me true freedom.
Right. Okay. So first, there's a lot to unpack there. So the
Yeah.
first one is bipolar.
Yeah.
So thanks for being honest about that because I do know that you've had some bad days, but also majority of the time you have really good days
Yeah.
as well. Um, and the question there is when you went into business, because this isn't your first rodeo, this isn't your first business.
No.
Um, did you at some point sit there and think, well, because of my medical status and stuff, I can't do this? Or was it actually the reason why you did do it?
Um, Weirdly, when I started my first business, I didn't know. So my
Mm,
first business was a cake business. I started off making celebration cakes. It spiraled into wedding cakes and then just turned into an uncontrollable beast. Um, and what I ended up with was a business that had grown around me where I couldn't actually take time off because people needed their
hey.
cakes. So whatever was happening in my personal life,
Mm,
there was no backup plan for me. So I can remember the day that my nan passed, still
mm,
having to work to make cakes. And ironically, the cake wasn't the best. And the lady did complain about the cake, which, at the time I was a bit like rude. But it was fair enough. But I didn't have
yeah.
all of those in place. And it was only later that I realized that. Um, and even now, as I've come full circle, so obviously I had the business, went into cake coaching, went into general coaching, went employed for a little bit and came out. It's only this time as I've come out
Yeah.
that I've gone, I really want to build a business that works around me
Yeah.
and not the other way around. And I was doing that towards the end of my own business.
Mm,
But I don't think I realized then what freedom actually meant and what success actually meant and what it looked like.
For you.
For me, I was going with the generic
Yeah.
handbags, shoes, and all of this stuff. Whereas actually, for me, it's just being able to take a day off if I want a day off. If my sister,
Mm.
going out with my nephew, or if my sister says, "Can you look after my nephew on this day?" Being able to go, "Yes, absolutely, that's not a problem," because if I
Yeah.
don't work that day, it's absolutely fine. And I think so. I didn't know when I first started business, I didn't know. But as I've started to live with bipolar and depression and anxiety and all of the wonderful things that come with it, I've learned a lot that yes, I can take tablets, I can have medication, I can do all of this stuff, but the other 50% has to come from those external influences. So I have to have control over
Mm.
what is coming in.
Yeah.
So
So,
that's been important.
okay. So, can I ask another question then? Because as someone who's also in business, it's taken me a while to grow my business. Like, I, and I'm sure there's other people that can resonate with this as well. But when I went into business, to me, it was I've got a service or a product and I want to sell it. And
Yeah.
then you go in and you go, okay, so I'm going to do that. And then somebody says, yeah, but who's your ideal client? And you go, oh yeah, God, so I need to look at my ideal client. And then they go, okay, so I can't remember the next question and stuff, but oh, have you got an audience? You go, oh yeah, so I need to go out and get an audience. So, well, actually, you just don't go out and get you an audience. You need a lead magnet. So you go out and get a lead magnet. And I felt like I was just like going round and round and round. I think for the first time ever, I'm sat here as a business owner and going, all I need to do is rinse and repeat what I've learned. I don't need to go out and bring something else in. It's just rinse and repeat what I've learned. And I just felt like business was just it was just like accumulating loads of different stuff and putting it in. So how then providing the backbone for businesses around the systems, the structure, and the strategy,
Yeah.
how then do you do that bit as well as help making sure that they've got something to work on or that works for them when they're not around? Because to me, it seems like twofold, or is it all part of the same
It's
bit?
all part of the same thing.
Right.
So what I find is, like you say, we come into business and we're taught lots and lots and lots of different
Mm,
things, and everybody's got different things that we should be doing, and they're throwing it at us. But
yeah.
one thing I will caveat that with is not everything you are taught is going to work for your
Yeah.
business, and you have to. And it's difficult because you have to know the things that are going to work, but you don't
Yeah.
know the things that are going to work until you've
You
tried them.
tried
So,
them.
for example, ideal client. I think ideal client is a brilliant, proven, well thought out concept for product businesses because
Mm.
product businesses aren't really solving a problem, for example. So, when I had my wedding cake business, their problem was they needed a wedding cake. That was the extent of their problem.
Mm.
So I had to then set myself apart from the rest of the wedding cake suppliers.
Hmm.
So to do that, I needed to target a specific group of people. So that's where ideal client work was amazing. She was called Victoria. I could tell you where she shopped. I could tell you how much she earned. I could tell you all of this stuff. If I was to speak about an ideal client now, it
Mm.
would be completely different because I work with all different types of people from all different types of industry. What
Mm.
they have is a common problem. So I don't feel like ideal client works for the service industry because I believe that we need to work and market around people's problems and the solutions that we're offering, not a particular type of person.
Right. And I think that comes down to that dispute, isn't it? Of, you know, are you looking at I don't know, a black woman, or are you looking at a black human, or are you looking at somebody who has X problem and stuff? It's like, where do you break it down? Because
Yeah.
it's not race, gender,
All of that,
experience doesn't always give you the client that
it
you
doesn't
want.
give you that, and it would work for a product business who are selling particular products, particular, hair products, for example.
Yeah.
I know people would differentiate between the different types of hair and all of this. You've got coloured hair,
Hmm.
whatever. Whereas, and when I say coloured hair, I mean dyed, not just a
Not
caramel.
Afro.
No,
Not
but
Afro.
you also have Afro hair, and that's a different, again, a different
Clientele.
market, isn't it? It's a different clientele. So if I was launching a product that was for Afro hair, my target audience would not be somebody with hair like mine.
Mm, mm, mm,
So
mm.
I think that is really, really important. Whereas when it comes to solving a problem, and I talk to people who are like, do you have all of your structures in your business? And I ask, if you were to walk away from your business for 2 days,
Mm,
would it hold together? Would everything still work? Would sales still come in? Would leads still come in? Would stuff be able to function without you for 2 days?
mm.
9 times out of 10, the answer is no. But that doesn't come from one group of people
No.
or one demographic. That comes from a whole plethora of demographics, but we're talking about a specific problem.
Yeah.
And I think that's where business gets complicated because
Mm,
people are teaching you what is right, what worked for them, rather than taking a step back and saying, okay, well, I know all of this about business.
yeah.
So let's talk to you about what would work for you. So I would say I was working with you, Victoria. I'd come to you and I would talk to you about your strategy. And I would say, okay, well, what are your plans? What do you
Mm.
want to achieve? And let's map out how to get from here to here, which is what most coaches, mentors
Meant
would
to
do.
do. Yeah.
But then they would say, right, to get from here to here, you need to grow your audience, have an email list, have a sales page, do all of this.
Mm.
They would give you a to-do list and then they would send you off on your merry way.
Yeah.
To which you would then sit there and go, okay, well, this is great. Thanks for this. How do I do all of this?
Yeah.
And then you could outsource that. You could get a tech VA, you could get somebody to build it for you. And
Mm.
no shade to tech VAs at all. Tech VAs are amazing. But the tech VA doesn't know the strategy
Mm.
behind what they're building. So it's very generic. Whereas I would work with you, it would be okay, so we've got this strategy.
Mm.
This is what we're going to build. This is why we're building it, because this is going to link to this, which is going to link to this.
Mm.
And this means that once all of this is interlinked, you can put this thing out once, twice, once a week, and it will continue to generate.
Yeah.
I see so many people trying to do these two things in separate places, and you've got nobody talking. So I've worked with people before to build systems, and they've got a coach over here telling them to do one thing, and they're asking me to build something. I'm like, but I don't get why. Why am I
Yeah.
building this? What's the point of building it? Where's it leading to? Where's it coming from? It's so much more than just one little system.
Right. So let's move back away because we're going really technical at the
Oh,
moment, and I want us to stick with the humane
yeah,
side because at the end of the day, when people come into business, they're human.
they
At the
are.
end of the day, they're just a human who is trying to figure out a different way of earning
Yeah,
money. And 9 times out of 10, people go into business and they're not making money that can sustain them.
yeah,
It's very different when you've got a job, isn't it? It's like you get a job and you know that that salary is yours.
yeah. At
With a
the end of
business,
every month,
you know what you've
and
got.
it is a very, very secure thing. And it
It
was one of the
is.
things that appealed to me from taking that time out, from going self-employed to employed, having that regular income and living with
Mm,
my bipolar and having other people to bounce off of.
yeah,
It was one of those pros, knowing that at the end of the month, I'd have that solid paycheck.
yeah,
On the
yeah,
other hand, I lost the freedom
yeah,
to have the power over my own cash flow. So if something happened, for example, say one of the kids' cars broke down, I lost that freedom to put out an offer or say, oh, I've got an opportunity to work with me one to one to bring in
to
that
bring in the
extra money that
cash.
I needed.
Yeah. But also, are we centralizing entrepreneurship as well? Because it took a long time. And if I'm really honest, I still don't think I have. I do have the freedom, but there's still a freedom that I'm still chasing,
Yeah.
where I think that freedom doesn't come automatically. Like you need to be able to figure out what freedom looks like to you, and then be able to see how soon you can actually get it. So, for example, if somebody said, "Well, what freedom have you got?" I'm like, "Well, I could decide to work or not." But the
Yeah.
truth of the matter is, if I don't work today, tomorrow, I'm definitely going to pay for it in about 2 days time.
Yeah.
There's going to be emails that I need to respond to. There's going to be posts if I haven't scheduled that I need to go out and everything else. So it's that I feel like that freedom is sometimes centralized as opposed to earned because
We
not everybody in
find
business
that
gets it.
freedom almost. It's almost like we left a 9 to 5
Yeah.
to become attached to our business
Yes,
24/7. Now, don't get me wrong, I love to work.
I do.
Like I adore working. I'm fortunate in the fact that both my children are older, they're 25, they're 22. My husband works in hospitality. So, for example, he's not at home now when we're recording
Yeah,
this later on. I could sit on the laptop and do a bit of work.
yeah.
It wouldn't bother me. Whereas for somebody with younger children, if I use my sister for an example, she's got a 13-year-old and a 16-year-old, it would be a completely different story. Our husband would be at home. I was going to say expecting dinner on the table, but no, my brother-in-law would not expect dinner on the table. But it would be a different scenario for
Yeah,
that person.
yeah.
But when it comes to that freedom,
Mm,
like you say, it is what does that freedom
look
look
like.
like to you? Because for me, that freedom looks like being able to say, I don't want to work today.
Yeah.
It looks like being able to, and this is a funny one, but looking at the calendar for all of the full moons, knowing that if it's a full moon, I don't sleep well the night before. So for me, it's
Mm,
having that freedom to block out the morning after so I don't have to work. I don't have to get up. I don't have to do calls.
mm,
So I can work with that energy.
mm,
So it's
mm,
a different level of freedom. For some people, it's only working a couple of days a week,
mm.
but it's knowing what that freedom looks like to you. Is it that you go out for a day with your family and you can actively not look at your phone?
Yeah.
Don't
And
feel like you have to be on all the
yeah.
time.
But I think what I'm trying to say is that it takes time to get there because
It does.
you, you can't just start a business and go, yeah, I'm not going to work today because otherwise you're going to really struggle. Now, take me back to cake making because it's, it, I think it's underestimated exactly what you did in the cake business. And I believe that you took a lot of the skills from your cake business and brought it into the online world.
Yeah.
Um, why cakes?
So my beloved Nanny Iris, she always made cakes for the family. I can remember going to her house every Saturday without fail, and
Mm.
there was some sort of novelty cake on
There.
the go. It was we were talking about the 80s, so it was normally quite a rude cake, featured nude figures. You know the ones that I mean, the ones with like a swimming pool with the little nudies sitting around the side. But there was always something like that on the go. And so my mum always made our birthday cakes. It was
Yeah.
given. I've got great memories of some of the weird and wonderful things that were made. So when I had my kids, it was just natural to me that I would make their birthday cakes.
Mm.
But it turned out I had quite a skill for it. And so then it escalated to as they got into school and school age and other kids would come in, the parents were going, "Oh, this is really good. Could you make a cake
More.
for my daughter?"
Yeah.
So, and it grew from there, which was wonderful. And then I finally turned it into a business and it became, I don't want to say a beast, but it was a really successful business, depending on your definition of successful. I had a cake studio. I made a cake for the late Queen. I made a cake for Take That. I was frequently pictured in papers giving cakes to celebrities and all of those kind of things. If you ask other people, that wasn't a sign of success.
Right.
If you ask me, I was quite young at the time. I was still kind of like 30s
Okay.
at the time this was going on, like mid 30s. So I was getting invited out to nightclubs to give cakes to celebrities and being invited to party for the night.
That's successful to me.
That was successful to me. Um, but then I came into the online space, realized that obviously the cake making did have a limit because there was theoretically only so many cakes that
They can make.
I could physically make. And so I then started teaching other cake makers how to grow their cake businesses.
Right.
Because obviously I was very visible online. I was doing all of this stuff. So I taught other cake makers how to grow their businesses. During the pandemic, I helped a lot of cake makers navigate that period of
Yeah.
time because there was loads of legal and moral obligations that we had to navigate. And then that was when I closed my cake business because I think August 2020 was the first year
Yeah.
in 14 years that I had a summer off.
Wow.
Um, and I just went, I don't want to make cakes anymore. It was great. I think Fiona was 20, so Kelsey would have been 17. Yes, Kelsey was 17 during the pandemic because she couldn't learn to drive. Um, so whilst the business had grown up around them and I was able to be at home and pick them up from school and do all of this stuff, I was like, I just don't want to make cakes. So then I just started focusing on the coaching, which then turned
Yeah.
into wedding industry coaching, which then turned into generic business coaching, and then turned into teaching people the how because I found this gap,
Hmm.
um, this gap that so many people were being left behind because people were being told what to do,
Yeah.
but never how to do it. And it's because I find
Yeah.
like a lot of people teaching the what
The what?
have teams.
Not the
So they
how.
don't know, so they don't actually know how to do it themselves. And that's no
Yeah.
shade, but they don't know how to do it themselves. They couldn't help people and we're talking about some people who needed to know the absolute basics, like how
Yeah.
do I do a reel?
Yeah.
What's a carousel post?
Mm.
And it was that fear. I think people had a fear of asking those questions because they didn't want to look like, oh,
Do
it's
look
a stupid
stupid.
question. But to me, there's no such thing as a stupid question. You don't know what you
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
Um, and so, yeah, so I identified that gap that people really needed to be shown how, but
Mm.
equally, people needed to be shown how in a way that would break it down, that people could watch it and implement stuff at the same time as watching these videos.
Incredible. So one of the things that I want to come back to is you've gone from cakes, you've experienced your health
Yep,
stuff, which is managed very well, by the way. And and as a mum to two girls who are in the 20s and still live at home, so
yep,
you're still very much a full-time mom. Like
yep.
it's not like they've left the nest and stuff, and you're living your best life. Um, right now, why the three S's? Why going into the backbone of people's businesses? What's the gap that you're trying to work and heal?
So what I'm trying to do is I see a lot of people want to start businesses and they want to start businesses for all of the right reasons.
Mm,
They have reasons, maybe they want to stay at home with a child, maybe they want to earn extra money, but the business overwhelms them and they don't have any systems or structure or strategy in place
yeah,
and the real foundations that will just hold that business up
yeah,
because we're wanting to build businesses to perhaps work around our children or at home and whatever. But if our child is off sick, it's really, really important that that business can handle you taking
yeah,
a day out of it. And I see so many people struggling and getting overwhelmed because they can't take a day out because of
yeah,
childcare or they
yeah,
can't do this because of the other. And all of these things that while some people might just go, well, it's an excuse. If you really, really wanted to do something, you'd make it happen.
yeah.
It's not always that black and white.
No,
And I think it's really, really important that we're bringing there's so much knowledge out there, so much knowledge. And it's helping, for me, it's helping people to understand that you don't need to listen to all of that knowledge. You don't need, you can listen to some of it and go, but that doesn't apply to me. And that's
Yeah.
absolutely okay,
Yeah.
because what
100%.
works for one isn't going to work for another. A lead magnet is a great example of that. When I had my cake business, I learned all about funnels, and I was told you send out an email and you email your list every single day. And I was like, great. Except the problem is my emails were going to brides.
Mm.
Brides did not want to be emailed every single day. So we have to, instead of just taking some information and running with it and just
Mm.
putting it in there, like, oh, this is like almost taking a template from somebody else's business and putting it in our own. It's let's build that structure that works for us,
Yeah.
because that's what's really important to me. I want you to have a business that works for you. I want everybody who works with me to have a business that works for them. I also want
Mm.
them to have the skills and the knowledge to be able to change things, to adapt things. I could go into anybody's business and build a funnel and build all of this stuff. And I do it in some people's
Yeah,
businesses.
you do.
But also, I want people to know how to adapt these things themselves so that if something goes wrong,
Yeah.
almost like the give a man a fish, teach a man to fish kind of
Yeah.
analogy,
Yeah.
I like people to have a certain amount of being self-sufficient
Very
and being able
important.
to, and because the minute they sit there and say, and especially I know we get quite techie, but it's it puts people off. People are immediately, I can't do it. I can't do the tech. I can't build a funnel.
Mm.
I don't know what a funnel is. Isn't a funnel something you stick in a jug? Um, there's all of this, but the minute you break it down for somebody, the
Yeah.
minute you show them, and I'm a great hand holder, I'm a great cheerleader, I will sit and I will work through something with people. The minute they go, I did it, nothing makes me happier than
Yeah.
somebody emailing me saying, Shelley, I watched your video. I was able to set up my own funnel, because whilst it's satisfying for me, oh, the satisfaction they have from
Mm.
achieving
Yeah.
that thing is so important, and the confidence that that gives them, that they then go on to do more stuff rather than just sitting there going, I can't do it, closing the laptop, walking away from building their own freedom and building their own future and having a life that they want.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's really funny actually because one of the things that I remember the first time I ever spoke to you, I had a question and
Of course you did.
right, of course I did. I had a question and I didn't know who you were, but I just put it out there and you came back and went, this is what you need to do. And I always remind you of that because what you've done since then is you've taken that and you've really ran with it. You have a YouTube channel, where you literally say to people, I'm going to show you how to, which comes back to the ethos of not many people show you the how to, they show you the what, they don't show you the how to. Um, and first of all, I just want to say thank you for that space because
You're
I
welcome.
want people to know that there is a space where they can wonder and go, well, how do you do that without, I mean, listen, there's Chat GPT, right? But where you go and
Oh,
well,
chat goes rogue.
yeah, chat goes rogue. But it's like when you have a real human being who's gone out there and done the research, which is what you do. You've had the research and then you come back and you package it and then you go, this is how you do this. And it's so, I would say idiot proof because anybody can actually learn it and stuff like I do think it's incredible. So what's next for you? Like what are you looking at for your business and how you serve the world?
So I am looking to help more people.
Hmm.
One of my passions when I started was to help people. I hate saying the lower end, but at the beginning of a business,
Starters.
the starters, the people who are just starting. And the thing that I find so ironic about the industry is these people at the beginning are the people they are in need of the most amount of information.
Yeah.
However, they're priced out of it
Yeah.
because everything is being gate kept behind paywalls. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't charge for knowledge. I think it is important. I do have paid programs. I have paid where people can
Yeah.
pay for access to me and access to my brain.
Right.
That being said, if we're not looking after these people, like almost like seeds, they're not going to bloom, they're not going
No.
to grow. And these people are going to be the ones that if they're taught properly and nurtured properly, they are going to continue on journeys with you
Mm.
and support you and become your biggest cheerleader and buy more products that you've got.
Yeah.
And so I'm doing a lot of done for you work. I'm building out amazing systems behind the scenes, which totally excite me and totally geek me out. But equally, I'm looking at creating a program that will help people build those systems
Yeah.
so that people have, and not just a course that I'm going to sit there and say to you, well, these are the 5 automations that you need to have in your business. A program that will say, let's get these systems set up, something that you
Love
can
that.
rinse and repeat,
Yes.
something that you can clone. So I've built something out for a client recently, and they have all of their landing pages and thank you pages and everything created in Kartra so that all they have to do is clone that original page. So it's all
Amazing.
there. So
Yeah.
all they need to do is copy and paste it. The work is done.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I want people to be able to do that stuff. So it's not a case of, oh well, I've created this lead magnet, but now I don't know what to do with it, and now I
Right.
don't know what to change. How do I change it if I want to do it again?
Yeah.
And so many people are getting stuck at these hurdles, and I want to break down these barriers, and I want to knock over these hurdles because I don't believe that it should be that hard. I want to give the level of support to business owners. I'm getting on my soapbox now.
I'm enjoying it. Go for
I
it.
want to give business owners the level of support that I wanted when I started my business, but I was priced out of. So I am that tenacious, annoying, stubborn human that will go off and research and find
Yeah.
everything out, but not everybody is like me. I'm the kind of person that builds a conservatory when I'm 8 months pregnant. I'm that person.
Yeah.
Rip up gardens and stuff. Victoria will
I've
fill you
seen
in with
I've
my
seen you do I've
garden
seen you
repairs.
not while you were pregnant. I haven't known you for that long,
No.
even though I've known you for quite a bit. I've known you for about 6 years, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But I do remember, I can't remember when it was, but you
I just ripped up my garden one day.
yeah, and then and then put together a whole garden. And I think
Yeah.
you weren't meant to be well.
No.
Be well and stuff. And you weren't meant to be well, and you ended up doing this incredible garden. I was like,
No.
how have you managed that? Like, it's
But
incredible.
I'm that tenacious, and it's
Yeah.
something my dad has always instilled with me. Like my dad always used to do his own DIY. Granted, there was a lot of swearing involved, but he did DIY. When we got a rabbit, he built the rabbit hutch. So I've always had that give a go energy, like have a go.
Yes. Have a go.
Um, like just give it a go. What's the worst that can happen? I mean, I've probably cut myself a few times, hurt myself a couple of times, but so I've always had that, but I know that not everybody
How's that?
is like me. And I don't want people to not have the lives that they want or feel like they can't start a business because they're priced out of stuff or they're not able to give it a go. I want them to just be able, because if I can give them those first few bits of information, they can go on and conquer the world.
I think what you do is more around sort of like business made easy,
Yeah.
because it is it isn't easy. I'll say that it isn't. And you just need to be able to find someone who can make it palatable for you
Yeah.
so that you can at least have a bit of confidence as you navigate the way, to be able to achieve the dreams that you really want. How can people get in touch with you? What's the best way? What's the easiest way?
Best way, come and find me on Instagram. I'm at the Shelley Shulman. I'm the same on YouTube at the Shelley Shulman. Come and subscribe to my channel. There's lots of hints and tips over there,
Loads, loads.
loads and loads and loads. Or I will give Victoria a link that if you want to sign up to my email list, what I do is I email out every Thursday a really simple 5-minute tip for you to implement in your business that will take your business forward every single Thursday.
Amazing. What about your group?
Oh, my group. Yeah, I have a Facebook group. If you want to come and join my Facebook group, it's called Startup, Stack Up, Scale Up.
There you go.
Because that's the stages that I believe that businesses go through. They
Yeah.
start up and then they stack up all the tech and stuff, and that's when they scale. So come and join that. We have collaboration threads in there so that you can work with other people. We have sales threads. We talk about our wins, because if we don't talk about our wins and we
Who
don't
will?
brag about them, who else will? And to me, every win is a win. Like, I don't believe in big wins or small wins. I believe in wins.
I love that. Shelley Shulman, thank you so much.
Thank you for
My
having me.
pleasure.
It's been a
Thank
blast.
you.
Catch up with you soon.
Yay.